The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com, 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody?
What's
Post-game
up?
pod. I just grossed Abby out with my series of injuries. Shout out to the YouTube commenter who noticed that one of my fingers is cut or discolored, or I did not hit myself with a hammer, but I did
Huge bruise.
lodge a guitar string underneath my hand.
I was going to say, you don't need to say it again, Chris. No one needs the mental image of that.
The Celtics were the figurative guitar string plunging deep into the Toronto Raptors tonight as part of I don't even remember the final score. 111-101. You didn't like that?
I can't get it off. I can't.
Celtics win. All right. Much like my finger, this was not the sexiest of wins.
You keep saying sexy tonight. We've done 3 shows. He's found a way to fit it into every single one of them. Sexy couple weeks coming up for the Celtics after this road trip. Not a sexy win.
Show me that. Am I wrong?
A W is a W.
Am I wrong?
I mean, it was good in the fact that the Celtics were down 4 rotation players, including Kristaps.
No one's saying it wasn't
who was
a
once again a
good
late
win.
scratch. Yes.
I'm saying, Scout was on our postgame show. You probably hear this coming up, where he's like, man, that was an entertaining game to watch. And I'm thinking, well, were we watching the same game?
I mean, I was entertained. It's NBA basketball. The Celtics
I
had
guess
some good highlights.
I'm holding the Celtics to a high standard now in
Yes,
terms of
that's true.
It's been quite a run. You just assume an inferior opponent, they're going to roll. I understand that's not how it goes. And just like you said, down 4 players. They had stretches. There was nice little moments throughout this game. Jayson Tatum's first half assist, Derrick White's fourth quarter,
Yes.
JB scoring. What's your biggest takeaway from it all?
That the Celtics are finding ways to win once again. During that malaise of January, this was perhaps a game that maybe they just felt like they didn't have it. I mean, shooting.
Literally one of the teams they lost to in that.
Absolutely.
Grossness.
And going 15 for 51 from 3 and not allowing that to really discourage them enough that they stop playing defense. And so that's what stood out to me, is that they have kind of found their way out of that tough stretch and are back to playing winning basketball, finding ways to win regardless of who's available, who's on the floor, and what the situation is.
And I do appreciate winning ugly. I do think there's going to be times, even in the postseason, where you might have a game. And Michael Holley brought this up in our postgame plus, where you might not remember this game. It's not going to go in the scrapbook, but there'll be something in there that you can take from it. Like, the three's not falling. We just got to find a way. Oh, we don't have a center. No Kristaps, no Al Horford, no Luke Cornett. You just got to find a way. And they did. And the first night of a back-to-back, all that is fine. I'm fine with them finding a way. And I guess my biggest takeaway would be just Derrick. Derrick continues to be really good.
I was going to say, and then continuing to build up that swagger for Derrick.
Yeah,
White.
So I want to get your take on that, because the whole conversation has been lately about Derrick's joy level. And I told you, I think joy is often tied to how you're performing. And I guess that's how anybody would judge joy.
If you're not doing well at your job, it's not fun.
Right. It's gonna wear on you. It's just weird because it's Derrick, and you just assume that he's
always having
He's
fun.
always full of joy,
he's always
right?
Happy.
So,
yes.
And we keep saying it, as Derrick goes, so go the Celtics. And so as Derrick has pulled himself from whatever that funk malaise was, off go the Celtics. You were around them more than I was in that stretch. Was it just focus? Was it just lack of joy? What was your vibe? What was your take on as they're riding that roller coaster?
It didn't feel like a roller coaster at all. It was just
so
all
weird,
part of the process.
You even texted me that at one point, and I was like, how does she not feel this? Because watching it from the outside, it was like, oh.
This team knows what they're capable of. They know what it takes to get there, and they understand that they're at game 40, whatever it is, in a grind of an NBA regular season.
At any point. So, let's say that the swoon really started probably late December, the Christmas Day loss. Maybe that was one of the real, come on. It's
that
the
one,
Sixers.
They
on the
hadn't
other
dropped
side.
back-to-back games yet this season. And that one I really thought they would show up for. You're on a national stage playing. I mean, but at the same time, they knew the Sixers record coming in and have seen them play on film. And I know that Mazzulla coaches to potential, but when you come to the mental game of that for a player, I can't imagine the human nature of that and finding it hard at 5 o'clock on Christmas Day after you've had your ham, you've opened up some presents, to come in and really lock in and focus on a Sixers team who we've seen is the bottom of the Eastern Conference right now and playing like that and has played like that for most of the season.
In hindsight, probably the only game that with a sort of a national spotlight or a bigger spotlight on it that they've failed to meet the moment. And like you could say Oklahoma City, but in Oklahoma City, they were great in that first half.
Yes.
They lost their way in the second half and never pulled themselves out of it. But every other time that they've needed to. But it took me until the Dallas loss here was the first time where I was just like, whatever. But to just dismiss a loss.
Not be concerned.
Yeah, like that was the only one in that stretch. Like every other one was like, man, what are they doing? Like, why aren't they focused? Like, why isn't this going the way I expected it to? And I know Joe Mazzulla said 1,000 times, it's not going to go the way you expect. It's like there's going to be different obstacles. It's not going to look like it did always last year. But it took me a while to get off that roller coaster. And now, like, whatever. Like, if they'd lost tonight, I mean, in the moment, I would probably been like.
So then what flipped for you in the Dallas game?
Because I think what it was more that stretch, whenever they needed to go up, they went up. Mm-hmm. And so I forget what the big wins in that.
You were reminded that what they are capable of.
Right. And look, I've said it 1,000 times too. I don't love that they're a kind of a flip-the-switch team, but they've done it consistently enough, and they've seemed to have recognized that even they had to stop doing it to such a degree that it felt like a corner was turned. So there's the 2 West Coast trips, right? So, like, they went and they took care of business at every stop along the way. The good
3-1 on both.
Yeah. And I understand first game back home is always, for whatever reason, a little bit more difficult. So,
and I didn't get to say this on pregame because we talked about that. It wasn't so much to me that when you come home, you feel comfortable. It felt like because there was so much travel in there that you weren't even at home.
Right.
You got home late. They had to play the next day, or you had 8 hours at home.
It's like another road game.
It's another road game when it should be at home. And you're tired. You're sick of being on the road. And then you get to come home and you don't even get to enjoy it, sleeping in your own bed and hanging out with your family, because the games just kept coming. The travel kept coming. That's what I felt during that stretch. And I was not having to compete at an elite level where every team that comes into your building is taking on the defending champs and playing like that.
I need your A+ effort when you're doing the honeydew tonight's tour of the game. So, like,
they do change that read up. I'm staying on top of it. You never know what it's going to be. Are you mad for mocha? Are there some protein burritos, Forsberg?
I think every time I've ever done it, it's been a protein burrito, and I'm like, now I'm hungry. So how do you view this stretch here?
You do love burritos.
I do love burritos. Chipotle tomorrow night, by the way, remember. So, like, for me, now that I've dismissed, I always worry they're going to fall back into a little bit of bad habits, but I think this stretch has shown 10 out of 11, 6 straight. It feels like they've confidently just got that swagger, got that mojo. There's still like another level for them to go to, but they're trending in the right direction, and I have full faith they're going to be in the NBA Finals. It's weird for me to swing from, man, why is it going so crazy, to this. So how do you view this little stretch? Are you on are you overreactionary now like me, where you're like, pack my bags for Denver or OKC or whatever? Or are you more, no, this is just them playing better in this stretch?
Please, no, OKC. Please.
Someone
in the Western Conference.
No matter when we bring up NBA Finals, that's your only play.
Take down.
Do you remember were you weren't here for the year that they almost played OKC? That would have been 12.
Yes, right before. That was right before
my youngest daughter was about to be born, and we were like, there are no direct flights to Oklahoma City. There would have been a no-go.
Yeah, you can't leave.
So, that would have been tough.
I view this stretch as the Celtics getting back to playing Celtics basketball. But
but?
No, just that this is not the peak.
Okay.
And no one is looking to peak right now, nor is that, I think, something that's on their minds. I do think that this is kind of the point in the season where Joe Mazzulla can start experimenting, working towards some things. We saw a little bit of that zone defense tonight, working towards some things that will be used throughout that run. And so
and even
what
tonight,
should be a lengthy playoff run.
We've seen so much double big, and then tonight's the night where you just can't even go double big. So a lot of what has worked well for you can't use. But, like, starters need more minutes together. Like, stuff that will be difficult because you got to rest guys, 5 back-to-backs or 4 more after this. Like, it's going to be some trickiness to it.
But it is the home stretch. This is the team that won the championship a year ago and now understands that it is time to lock in. Things are getting serious. We're down to 25 games until the postseason starts.
It's going to go quick. It's like less than 50 days.
That's crazy. I did see something, and then game 1 of the finals would be 100 days from today. We're getting there.
Kind of crazy to think. You know, the season feels, especially, I mean, every year you probably feel the same way. We're like, game 1. Here we go. Like, you're back on the treadmill. It's going to be a while. I remember when we were in Abu Dhabi, and I was like, oh, man.
You have so much longer to go.
Longer, and I'm never going to see warm weather again for like the next 10 months. But no, now maybe because we've had a couple of like someone told me it was the first 50-degree day. Like the longest stretch that Boston hadn't seen a 50-degree day since 2003.
I felt that.
Yeah, I felt that too. I'll tell you that much.
All the ice out there.
My dog felt that. Campbell the dog today was like, yes. Like, I don't care that our backyard is still absolute ice. We're going to go rock out and throw the ball around because it's warm.
All the ice is melting. I know. I can maybe put my boots away.
Ooh.
That would be exciting.
That would be nice. Don't get happy.
Okay, sorry.
You know,
I don't want to jinx it. You're right. Today was beautiful. Downright balmy.
Oh, it's good. Like I'd love to give this game more air, but we have another game tomorrow, and I was just like, I really was interested. Like for someone who's around it more every single day to see what you felt.
Well, and that's what I found most surprising. That yes, while Derrick White was going through that slump, and that was clear by the numbers. Derrick himself doesn't change.
Yeah.
He still, after every shoot around, stays for 20, 30 minutes, doing trick shots, throwing the baseball around. You know, he never strayed from his routine. He never appeared to have lost that joy to all of us. And I talked to him in Los Angeles, right at UCLA before the Celtics played the Clippers, and he was very gracious about it and was open about it and said, yeah, I'm struggling. I can't hit my shots right now, and that's really affecting me and everywhere else. But he still wasn't. He was fine talking to me. He wasn't, he was still smiling. He was still Derrick White.
Do you think Derrick ever loses his temper?
No, I don't.
Like Hendricks made a mess of a room or something, and he just comes stomping in?
No. Hey, buddy, what you doing?
I just feel like he'd be like,
what happened here?
Yeah, we'll clean it up.
I mean, he does kind of get a little angry at the refs, but never.
Yeah.
Never.
He only had that one tack, and even that one tack, we were like, "Oh my god!"
That was soft.
Derrick White,
so soft.
Right. Did they ever? We should have checked if they rescinded it. They probably did not. But all right, you made me feel better. If you're listening on the audio version, when we get to the Jayson Tatum interview, just remember that Derrick is standing there with a raspberry slushy or something next to him.
It is a smoothie. Yep.
Yeah. And
after every game, each player gets a smoothie at his locker. It's up to him if he decides to drink it. And Derrick chose to drink his, standing next to Jayson Tatum.
I feel like
during their post-game press conference.
When I leave the Celtics locker room, 94% of the time the smoothies are all still in the fridge.
There's
like
a lot of
I don't feel like a lot of
over.
guys are going for that. But here's more from our post-game show. No smoothies.
Sadly.
The award-winning 24 Auto Group is the easy choice for your next car, truck, or SUV. 11 locations and over 2,000 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock.
Shop the brands you know and love, backed by savings and service you can count on. Plus, buy 3 and get 1 free for all tire purchases, with 11 convenient locations across the South Shore of Massachusetts.
24 has the knack to save you more. Visit us in store or online at 24autogroup.com.
Michael, what'd you think?
What did I think? This is what I think. I think we have gotten so used to Celtics players being out of the game that it means nothing. It really.
It's actually kind of better for them.
I mean, you think about tonight, like, oh, there's no Al Horford and there's no Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Hey guys, Kristaps Porzingis is not going to play. And you go into this game, and I know it's the Toronto Raptors, but they, since getting blown out early in the season, they actually play the Celtics pretty well. And the Celtics, dealt with all of the energy and all of the want-to of the Raptors and just controlled the game the entire time. I think this will be good when it comes to the playoffs, even though nobody's thinking this. Nobody's thinking, oh, well, what can you learn from a game in February against the Toronto Raptors? You can when you play with different combinations and you ask guys to do certain things. I guarantee you, it always happens in the playoffs. Somebody from the bench steps up with a key rebound, a key basket, something that wins you a playoff game. And these games help that happen.
There are probably multiple games throughout the course of the year that do not end up in the scrapbook, but there is a benefit to winning ugly. It's better than losing ugly, and I do like that. You just got to kind of find a way. And I was joking with you, like it's really not the sexiest game of the year. There's not a lot to kind of cling to, but they found a way and they win, and the win streak goes on. And this is what it is, especially on a back-to-back, especially when you're missing guys. Just win, baby.
Well, maybe what you cling to is like this is the start of Jayson Tatum's assist game. Maybe he's doing his Magic Johnson thing or his Nikola Jokic thing, where he really wants to. The assists are really piling up. I mean, what do we have now? We got 10, 9, and it was the final count 11 tonight. 10, 9, and 11 in the last 3 games. So he is a high assist guy. And we should have seen this coming too, because Joe Mazzulla and other people have said about Tatum how he's reading the game. Tatum mentions that a lot in his post-game interviews. He said it to you, Abby. Hey, just reading the game is what I'm trying to do and make the just correct assessment of what they're trying to do to me. And he's playing at a very high level right now.
Why do you think that Jayson Tatum does not get the national recognition that other superstars of his caliber, of his accomplishments, receive?
He's not enough of an egomaniac, maybe? I mean, like sometimes you just got to go around and pound your chest and say how great you are and just throw it in people's faces. Now, some guys, I'm not saying all guys are like that. Some guys are like that. And then some guys just get praised no matter what they do, and we kind of overlook their flaws. So let me give you an example. Jokic is great. Jokic is modest and great.
Yes.
But, the 4 MVPs, so it's hard to say, okay, Jokic doesn't deserve the praise. But, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you pointed out in pregame, they blew a 16-point lead with 4 minutes to play last night, go to overtime, he gets his shot blocked. He's not always a perfect player, but we overlook things from him. We overlook some of the flaws from other players. Anthony Edwards, he plays at a high level, but does not speak at a high level. Every time he talks, a $30,000 fine is coming. But we overlook that. With Jayson Tatum, he's the most nitpicked superstar probably in the NBA. Okay. Short of LeBron James, who has been in the public eye since he was like 15 years old. But I'd say short of LeBron, Jayson Tatum is the most scrutinized, most nitpicked, and most of the time it's unfair.
Just let the Larry O'Brien trophy speak for you.
And you know what, Forsberg and Abby, think about this. Think about how far he's come. How long ago? Was it 2021, 2022, somewhere in there, when Marcus Smart said of Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, hey, the problem is these guys don't want to pass the ball. That's what they got. They got to pass the ball.
I'd block that out. That was an awkward night.
I mean, think about that. That player who, he may not understand the value of passing the ball is now the guy we're talking about as a high assist playmaker. What a difference.
Whose call was it on the headbands?
Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, it was my call.
Why this particular game?
I mean, no particular reason. We had an agreement that whenever one of us said we got to wear a headband, we got to do it. It was supposed to take turns. We did it in Atlanta early in the season. I waited 40 some odd games for him to say it, so I took the responsibility from him and was just like, we're gonna wear the headband today.
So you sent the text. Does it go back and forth on who initiates it?
No, literally, I got done getting my ankles taped and I seen him. It's like, gotcha.
And how'd you think he did? All over the stat line tonight.
But how did he play?
Yeah, from a headband perspective.
Oh, I mean, he was D. White. He made plays. He hit big shots. He got us organized. I mean, I don't think it was a headband. Like, that's just what he do every night. But we needed to hit a shot down the stretch. He did that.
Another game for you with 10-plus assists. I believe it was like 9 in the first half. When you get doubled and pressured, et cetera, and you're able to dish out the ball, like, how does that impact the entire team, and what allows you to still find ways to impact the game, even if it's not necessarily scoring?
How do that impact my teammates?
It makes our lives easier. So shout out JT. But sure. 10 assists, was that like 3 straight? If you got one last time.
11 assists today.
Not bad. Not bad. Not too bad.
When you guys don't have bigs like KP, Luke, and it's a different rotation, a different start, and you're still able to see, Hauser get involved, Patrick get involved, etc. What is the kind of mentality of the overall group when you do have, and Drew not being in the mix? Like, what's the mentality to still stay focused and, get the job done?
JT Center.
Yeah, you did go up. You won the jump battle today. How did that feel?
I had doubts.
A few of my teammates they weren't too confident in me doing a jump ball. But I don't know, just a mindset. Like, we're a championship team. We figure it out. Guys is out. We gotta go small per se. We playing zone. We doing different things. We just figure out a way to win. Whether it's, D. White coming help side, getting blocks, guys rebounding, making second and third efforts. JD and Baylor coming into the game, and Jordan. It's just part of the culture. Like, we figure out a way to win, regardless of the circumstance.
Even more rewarding considering the last time you guys were here 6 weeks ago and the performance and losing that game, just to come back here and just kind of prevail even when you're shorthanded.
We wanted this one. Last time they celebrated and shit when they beat us. That's to be expected. Everybody gonna play hard and better against us. We came here with a chip on our shoulder, and we was gonna figure out a way to win this game.
All right, Abby, we're back to work. I love how I jumped. The Detroit Pistons.
Detroit basketball. They've won 7 straight. One of the hottest teams in the NBA.
It's kind of a fun team. I keep saying, I'm looking at the standings, and I thought, it was funny. At one point, I was like, oh, they might get out of the play-in. Now I'm like, oh, they might get up to the 4th seed? Depending on, Milwaukee's kind of up and down. They got some big problems with Bobby Portis and all that.
The Knicks, although are the Knicks done playing all the top teams in the NBA?
Yeah, I don't. Well,
They
their
can get some more
schedule's
traction.
tougher. I think part of the reason their win-loss is inflated right now is because they've played a soft schedule. But I don't think it's overly daunting. I thought it was middle of the pack maybe, the rest of the way. But I don't think they'll get up to 3, but I think they can get to 4, and then it just gets interesting. 1 versus 4, Cleveland versus Detroit, the JB Bickerstaff Bowl.
Those are some short flights. That's nice. They could just drive across the state of Ohio. But also...
Have you done that drive?
Yeah,
okay.
I have.
I figured.
I have family in Ohio. I do the drive to the middle. My family lives in the middle.
Break
so
it
I
up.
drive to Detroit, and then I drive to Cleveland.
I once, for a playoff series or something, I could not get to Cleveland for whatever reason, which feels weird because there's a million flights now. But I had to fly to Detroit, and then I made that drive. And it's actually kind of a fun drive.
It's not bad.
Not bad. Maybe not in the
Ohio
winter.
Turnpike? Yep. Yeah, probably not in the winter. But the Celtics have also had some issues playing in Detroit in the past. And I think that did have some, mindset issues because the competition may not have been, relatively
Should
as
not be an
stiff
issue
as it is now.
When
Yes.
you see Cade
but
over there.
going in on the second night of a back-to-back, though, Jaylen Brown limping around a little bit. Kristaps Porzingis coming off of illness. So we'll see what happens.
We got to keep an eye on Kristaps.
It should be fun.
This is two downgrades near tip-off. We got to make sure he's being okay.
I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, I know, but
there is a little something going around. Probably, I think it's very nasal. Just when you talk to the guys, they're just a little
you
nothing.
were sneezing earlier, but that might have been the.
I don't want to tell you my son sick over the weekend. Anyway, beside the point, it is the other thing that's great about Detroit, and you will hear Scal and Drew talk a lot about this.
I was just gonna say, no. Let me set this up. Are you disappointed to be in the studio? I know you love being in the studio.
This was the only thing that gave me pause to miss this trip. The pregame meal.
Can we explain?
At Little Caesars Arena is chef's kiss,
Literally.
best in the league.
I don't know if people can understand. Part of it is, one, I think most media meals are fairly mediocre. So some places we go to now don't even give meals. We get vouchers, and that's even more annoying.
It's a tough hit.
But in TD Garden, I used to.
TD Garden is one of the
yes.
best.
Now, I used to be really low because I was just, I don't know, because we have it every day. But now I have a great appreciation for it because you go to all the other arenas and you're like, oh. But Detroit went from, oh man,
Auburn
Palace
Hills.
at Auburn Hills. It's like
far
way out of the
away.
way. You're not in the city. The food stinks.
I did like where we used to stay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Side note.
And now, the best food in the league.
It's huge. The buffet is a little bit of everything. They've got the TD Garden where they have a carving station, multiple vegetables, which I know is not high on. There's a whole salad bar, multiple hot meals, and then the piece de resistance at the end of the buffet is all of the pizza you could want. There is thick crust, there's thin crust, there's Cinesticks, there's cheesy bread, and Chris, not only that, there is a soft serve ice cream machine.
Oh my God!
Which anyone on the NBA circuit, that is, those are
gluttonous.
That's big time for us.
I'm very jealous though. I'm trying.
So. You didn't get to go to Cleveland this year to get to Barrio and no Detroit.
I'm going to go to Portsmouth,
buffet.
New Hampshire and get my Barrio fix. But, yeah, it's hurtful. Like
we missed you. We went out in Cleveland. We went to Barrio.
I got this text. I got the pictures.
I said we should have got you.
Scal stuffing his face. I'm like, Scal doesn't even go out. And Scal's at the Barrio. I'm
I
like,
told
come
Drew
on.
we should have bought you a sweatshirt, and then we just had too many margaritas and left. And I was like, we missed it.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Next time. I'll see you guys. Barrio, Cleveland version. I will see you in the Eastern Conference Final, so don't even worry about that.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, no, snap. Who has the second best food in the NBA?
I would say TD Garden. Us, the Celtics.
Okay. Third. And then we'll end these shenanigans.
This is hard. Worst? It's Miami.
Yes.
Other than the vouchers.
We literally go get food before we go to Miami.
Yeah, before you go to the
At
arena
Yardbird.
for the game.
Yardbird is another one that I...
How do you not have sponsors already?
Every city I have one restaurant that I subscribe to. Indianapolis, like the 9 shrimp cocktails that I ate at St. Elmo's that horrified you.
That was so funny.
I was like,
for the playoffs last year. Okay, let me just set the scene.
This is why they make me host the pod solo most nights, because it just goes and devolves into here's what Forsberg ate on the road.
So we fly into Indy. I got there late because that's what happened. That's what I do. I'd rather stay home with the family. We couldn't get a reservation until I think it was 10 p.m.
10:30, yeah, something like that. It was
10:30. So we go. We're with Avalanche, famous on the pod.
On the pod,
Al
I forgot
Castillo.
people will know him.
Yep. Al's never been to St. Elmo's either. Had no idea
what was
coming
night.
for him. Oh, yeah, he couldn't eat.
Yes.
And so Chris sits down, and if anyone has ever eaten the shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo's, the shrimp are, what are those things called when they're so big?
Jumbo shrimp.
That's not. They're basically lobsters. They're basically like tiny lobsters. These shrimp are massive.
Yeah, jumbo doesn't do it justice. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they're
I don't know.
huge.
I don't think there's a name for it. It's just like steroid injected HGH shrimp.
And you get 4 of them. So, like, a normal human, you can cut that up into 4 pieces. And then the thing about St. Elmo's is their cocktail sauce.
I don't remember cutting
because
any of them.
they put so much horseradish in it.
Oh.
It is delicious.
So good.
Especially if you like spicy. Clears the nostrils right out. But so we sat down. Forsberg immediately orders a shrimp cocktail. And he's like, wait, no, you guys let's get 2. We need 2 shrimp cocktail. And then he just tears through them. But I think before we even ordered our steaks, our food, it is a steakhouse.
And I was like, well, if the steak is going to take a little bit to come out.
Yeah, why don't you bring us another shrimp cocktail?
Another round of drinks.
And then he ordered one more when the steaks got there. And me and Al were just like, no more shrimp. Please get these massive things off of our table. I don't think anybody ate a single one of the 4th.
I've read stories about there was like a famous wrestler who ate too much shellfish and then like literally couldn't wrestle again because he like had something happen to him. And I was like, in the aftermath, I go, I wonder if there's like a limit on how many shrimp cocktails you're supposed to.
There's got to be something, some
too
sort
much
of like
mercury or something like.
I would say mercury or whatever proteins they're feeding those shrimp to make them so big.
I'll tell you, that next morning, I walked like 74 miles. I was like, here we go. But yeah, it gets to a point where you're like, I don't think I made sure I hadn't eaten because I was like, man, I want to like maximize this. And by that, I probably mean I had Chipotle for lunch. And so we got to there's always a point where you're like, How much will this people judge me?
By the way, these shrimp cocktails are like $25 a pop, too. Forsberg's like, ring them up, bring another one. In Indianapolis, where the martinis are $8. There's like, I need more shrimp.
There's a podcast producer waiting to put together this episode saying, how are they still talking about the next game? I will say, I was worried you would judge me after that. And clearly you did.
I don't. I loved it. I loved it.
Good.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No. Like, I am not embarrassed.
I did not try to stop you from ordering.
No, of course not.
No. I was totally on board.
Do you think a man with this mustache has any shame?
I was.
I need everybody to go.
That mustache at St. Elmo's eating that much shrimp cocktail, which is like cocktail sauce stuck in your mustache.
Get ready. Could be a matchup if the Pacers slip. Go like, go subscribe, go make me St. Elmo's reservation. We'll catch you next time. Abby's back tomorrow night for another one of these.
Get excited. Although I feel like we used all our material.
No chance.
Okay.
Every time I think we're done, what happens is we have a really good episode. The podcast producers say they lost it because we went too long, and then we have to record later. We'll catch you tomorrow.
That did happen last
on
time.
the Celtics Talk podcast.
We love you, producers.
I really do. I just feel bad that they're waiting this long.